Braves win today.
They got canceled, postponed. Snow.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
Rain or snow, one of them. And you know they're in Chicago.
Yeah.
Which is gonna end up being in one of my busters. So yes,
keep that open. Close that. Close that. Close that.
here we go.
Brazy. Yeah. Looks like they back for a 5th season, man. Who that? Sports Roundtable. Who? SRT Crew. Whoa. SRT. They got that realness flowing in they DNA. Damn you lame if you ain't tuned to SRT today. HO got that payload when he say so. What you betting on? Don't get mad at me on fantasy. Break up Kyrie LeBron. I be smooth as sports superhero Hancock in the mix. Deal will roll tide forever. Real talk, you know who he gon' pick. See where I be with SRT. Behind the glass, that G-Money. They win it strong, I never lose. 6-man elite, that's J Smooth.
All you other sports radio shows is fake news. Believe it. Turn up your radios, cause it's time for SRT Radio. Yeah.
What up? It's Sports Roundtable, and we're back in the building. We're live from our virtual studios. I am your humble host, H.O. from Bankhead, and I got my main man back in studio. It's almost seemed like he's a guest this week, but my main man is back in studio, ready to take you around the world of sports. Mr. Hancock, the sports superhero. What's going on, Han?
Big homie, what's good? I'm just glad to be back in studio, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, man, the man came, boy. It's been long. I've been seeing people in studio, and I'm sitting here, man, trying to get things in order so I can get back in the saddle, man. So I'm gonna try to temper all the stuff that I got coming out of me. I'm bubbling. I'm like a bottle of champagne, baby, ready to go off.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Good, man. We got a lot to talk about. First off, let's go ahead and thank Bob Maceo for filling in while you are being a usable hand at your full-time job.
Got to do what he got to do, but got to make it do what it do.
Yep. So got to pay them bills. Dez already coming.
What's up, Dez? What's good? Glad to see the tennis, baby. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, I guess I gotta show my SRT coffee cup there.
Well, I'm telling you, I should have got mine. I just got a little mug going on, but you represent. We all good. I got the shirt on at least.
Oh, my there you go. All right, Han. The first question, I got this question to ask you before we even get started.
Talk to me.
Have the Houston Texans taken over the state of Texas as far as being the most how should I say this?
The big dog.
Yeah, the big dog in Texas. Has the Houston Texans taken over the big dog in Texas with the trade that went down today?
Yeah,
getting Stephon Diggs from Buffalo Bills.
That was huge, man. If it didn't put them in the lead, you know, football is king in the state of Texas. Let's just be real about it. So University of Texas is always going to lead and be big. But with what the Houston Texans did, you know, and last year, you know, announcing themselves as a playoff team, a young, exciting team, and adding to everything that they've done in the offseason, that was a big move with Stephon Diggs. I think they solidified themselves and brought themselves into the forefront, man. So, yeah, I got to say they're right there with the anticipation of Texas, you know, going full time to the SEC is going to be big, but man, the excitement around Texas right now got to be through the roof. So yeah, I think they opened up, and I think they probably jumped up.
Well, let me ask you this: if you include the whole state of Texas, do you put them in front of your Cowboys as far as the big dog for the
You know
whole
how it
state?
is. You know how it is with a shiny new toy. Dallas is always going to lead in media hype, and everything like that because of the star has been so prevalent over the years. It's going to be hard to supplant them as the I
The
guess
bigger
the
dog.
internet, a big dog in the whole state.
We'll
Because
call him big brother, little brother. Let's do it that way.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they still have to get to a level. I think they got the most excitement right now is around Houston, without a doubt. But Dallas is going to be there because you got people that hate Dallas, you got people that love Dallas. That's why no matter what their record is or whatever, they're always in the forefront when you look at the sports shows. What is Dallas doing? So, it's going to be tough to, unseat them in that respect. But yeah, excitement. Yeah, the Oilers.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas for sure.
All right, man. Before we keep going, man, I gotta say what's up to everybody online. What's up, Market, Dez, Marlon? What's going on, everybody? As y'all see, I got Hancock back in the building, baby. Yes, sir. The professor is in the building. So, all right, man. Well, they told me they wanted me to ask you about Houston and the Cowboys and things of that nature before we even get this thing started. So I obliged that, and I wanted to ask you. It came out that Houston Texans over under is 10.5 wins. You going over or you going under?
In the division they play in, I think they dominate that one this year coming up, unless we have surprises. But I think they dominate that division. So right there, you look for 5 or 6 wins. They probably, I can see 10 without a doubt. Yeah, right. I can definitely see that. Fruit cups, right, baby.
Yeah. So Mark, you been sharing your prize pick winnings?
Well, we gotta keep that down. We want them 3 letters to be looking for me.
There you go.
Yeah, we want the RN.
Yeah.
Fruit cups.
So Marcus said he going over 10. Marcus said he going over 10.
Oh, I definitely, man, because like I said, I think they'll be the class of their division without a doubt. And I have to look at their non-division schedule, but yeah, I think 10 is easy, man. I really do.
Like everybody going over 10. Dad say, yeah, barring injury, 10. So I mean, hey, it is what it is. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some hot news. The hot news sponsored by our good old friends, Big Easy Grill, 1193 Collier Road. Big Easy Grill, the best place you can find some Louisiana seafood in town. It might be the best Louisiana food in the South. Period.
I won't argue with you.
Including New Orleans. But I'm just saying, I mean, maybe I'm biased or whatever the case may be. But listen, Big Easy Grill has got it going on. The crab claws, the voodoo wings, and Hancock done put me onto some blackened shrimp. Well, I put Hancock onto the blackened shrimp.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. Big Easy Grill is off the chain. I think I may be visiting there sometime this week. So go on over to Big Easy Grill, 1193 Collier Road, Atlanta, Georgia. And make sure you mention SRT Sports Roundtable. Get the 10% off any meals, $25 or more. All right, hand. The Final Four women is intact. South Carolina, NC State, UConn, Iowa. Those are the women that are in the Final Four. All right, bro. Give me your thoughts on your take on the women's Final Four. And I think you were probably one of the banging the drum on the women's. You was anticipating the women's more than the men.
Right.
So, and have they disappointed?
They have not, man. I think they have over 12 million views or something like that in their watching that. Yeah, 12.3, man. So when you look at the interest in it, and they had a built-in, racial overtone. Let's be real about it. I think a lot of people know it and say
why you think people tuning into our show? Because we keep it all the way 1,000.
100. That is. We keep it all strictly SRT, baby. But we know this was probably the biggest race-related sports event, in my opinion, since Bird Magic, where you had the country, you know, everybody looking for that good old boy American Bird, and you know, the upstart black superhero and Magic Johnson. You had basically the same thing. It was good versus evil, whatever thing you wanted to say. The media, whatever they did undertones and undercurrents to show the divide in between, you know, between the two. But then they'd always try to polish it by saying, but these two girls really like each other and they respect each other. But we know what it is. That's what drives this country, is controversy and things of that nature. And it was at the heart of the whole matchup. You know, you asked me last week, which was kind of ironic. You said, which matchup was I really wanting to see? What was I looking forward to?
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it was South Carolina versus Caitlin Clark, or was it, you know, my young girl, Juju Watkins, was I looking forward to her? But, you know, the thing that everybody wanted to see and tune in to see was Caitlin versus LSU. And notice I did not say Iowa versus LSU. Or
You're right.
Honestly, it wasn't even Caitlin versus LSU. It was Caitlin versus Angel Reese. That's what the big deal was.
That Marlon called her Caitlin Curry.
Caitlin Curry. Well, they might want to call her Caitlin the Chosen, to be honest with you, because she is that. She can do no wrong. Everything she touches, she's like Taylor Swift right now, if you want to talk about a sports figure and compare it to an entertainment figure. She's that big right now. And I've said to you where I heard this one analyst say that she will be the GOAT as far as you talk about basketball. They didn't even say women. They said the GOAT if she wins one NCAA championship. Now, I can't understand that when Stewie won 4 in a row. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Diana won 3. I mean, so we ain't got to go down the line, but go ahead.
It's just crazy to say that a person can win one title and become the GOAT, when that's what we really classify and talk about. That's one of the most major things we talk about as far as a person even qualifying to be a GOAT. They have to win multiple championships. They have to be dominant in that field. Don't get me wrong. Her personal accolades and, you know, are through the roof. She's got her name is in every category you want to mention as far as individuality. But still, you have to get your team across the finish line. So I just don't understand how she can be proclaimed a GOAT if she, you know, if her titles don't add up to other people who've done it. I just can't see how you even go past Stewie at all. Stewie won 4, man.
Yeah.
4 in a row.
You don't mind me?
No. Please partake.
Yeah.
Please
the coffee gone, so I have to, cause I got some bottles and busters that I'm gonna need this with.
I hear you. But yeah, that's my take on it, man. I think it was it was big. It was something worth, you know, something we wanted to see. I thought it lived up to, at least the first half was, well, I think the whole game lived up to anticipation, but that first half was great.
Hey, listen, so I couldn't have put it better than what Marlon just said right here.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, the sauce is all over. No doubt about it.
Yeah, they got, look, she got mustard, ketchup, pickles,
lemon pepper wet, you name it. You name it. She got that lemon pepper wet, baby.
Look, now they trying to be nosy, man. They asking me what's in my glass now. But anyway, so the women's hadn't disappointed. Out of the teams that are in the Final Four, which team to you has impressed you the most?
Wow. You know, I know we talked last night on the previous show. Both friends of ours, a mutual friend, Maurice's show last night.
Oh, he'll be coming on pretty soon. I'm pretty sure.
That's what's up. And I know one of the guest hosts kind of downplayed what I said when I talked about UConn, but when you lose the amount of team that you lost 5 players that contributed to your team, and you find a way to get to the Final Four basically with one player. Now there's some other players out there. Don't get me wrong on her team, but I got to give UConn all the credit to advance to the point they have, being as depleted as they are. If you watch what they're playing basically 6 girls, and it's awesome to see that Gino was able to get this team to this level. I still think you have to tip your hat to South Carolina, but they lost 1 game in 2 years now. Lost a title game last year, I think. I'm sorry, semifinal game last year.
Yeah.
But to just keep reloading, keep building the way Dawn Staley has, and to watch her, take this team and become one of the preeminent programs in the country from what she was. I remember when she was, balling in the USA and in college and the things she did. I didn't know she had this in her to become a coach and be as dominant as she is. But hey, a lot of times great players don't translate into coaching. And we've talked about it before. We've seen it before where the greats, when they do get to take over a team, they don't quite get that team or make that team become what they felt or what they played, the level they played at. And a lot of it's due to they just don't understand why their players can't do or see the things that they do. But she's able to do it, man. She's imparted that into these players. And, South Carolina is a power, man. So I tip my hat. And I don't want to sound like I'm downplaying Howard, because you still have to give Caitlin Clark her credit. She's got her team back from last year, going all the way to the title, and she really didn't have a lot around her. She's brought her teammates up. Some of the girls that scored, they were averaging like 6-8 points, and now they're averaging, one of them scored like 21 the other night, and I think 18 or something like that in the same game. With that, I still think that coaching played a part in that. I think that LSU played into their hands, but that's another story. I do have to give our credit. So, but yeah, I'll go UConn 1, South Carolina because of consistency and dominant 2, and then I'll put Iowa in there because Caitlin is she's dominant right now.
Could Dawn Staley surpass Gino, Pat Summitt, Kim Mulkey, and all these great women coaches as far as their cachet? Could she pass them with what she's doing, or she's on the? Could she be what we call the Patrick Mahomes of women basketball right now as far as coaching?
Well, the thing is that when you are that, you normally walk into that player's living room and you really don't have to recruit them that much. You just say, look, I want you at this program, and they come. You've seen that when Coach K would go in and close deals. He had other guys go out and recruit the players, but he would be the one to lock it up by saying, okay, bring that guy. I'm sure he had to sign off on it. So same thing with Dawn Staley right now. South Carolina is the program that the kids want to go to. She has top recruiting classes, I think, every year. She's getting those girls that Gino used to, have to turn away. I'm sure, like, well, I don't need her. I got this or whatever. Now Dawn's getting the pick of the litter. So, yeah, she right now has a chance. But it's all about longevity now and wanting to stay in that field and in that present for that long. I don't know if she wants to ever coach at any other level. I think, some people don't want to deal with the professional life, right then, being a college coach or dealing with kids is easier because, well, it was easy before the NIL. I don't know how much easier it's going to be now that they're making more money than the coaches. So we'll see. But yeah, I think if she wants it, she can definitely be the GOAT or approach the GOAT status of these other coaches.
Now, I'm not sure if you heard, but Tennessee on the women's side fired their coach.
I saw that.
Rumor. So I get all the Duke news and all this, and Carol Lawson is the head basketball coach at Duke, and
former Vol,
and
the
headline reads, "This is a nervous week for Duke basketball?
First thing I thought of when I saw that they fired the coach, I said they're going after Carol Lawson. I just feel like that it was already in the works. There was no. I mean, look, the lady, she was successful. The coach at Tennessee was winning. I mean, she had them in what, the Elite Eight? Didn't they make it to the 8 or 16? One or the other.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the program had fallen to the dregs of women's college basketball. So there's a reason behind it. There's a motive, and I think the motive is to go out and go get Carol Lawson. I don't know the actual pay that she's getting at Duke, but I'm sure Rocket Top is already ringing that cash register, and they got a big check ready for it. I promise you that. So
if you had to, if you was on Prize Pick right now, and you had to place your bet on Lawson leaving Duke, going to Tennessee to her alma mater, and 1 through 10, 10 being a sure thing, what number you picking?
Ooh, 9.999. I think it's a done deal. I could be wrong, but I think the draw, man, to go to your story. Now, this is a storied basketball program. You think about the years that Pat Summer was at the helm and the championships that they won. You can go down the list from Shamika Holtzclaw, Tamika Catchings, the Three Meeks, and down the line, even with herself being one of those. Carol Lawson being one of the top players to ever play there. I just think that draw is going to be too much and too tough. And it's been enough time between Summit being, that time has passed where she can come in now and not have to really replace a legend, but to continue the legacy, maybe, if that makes sense. I think
if Lawson leaves to go to Tennessee, hear me out.
Go ahead.
There's a woman who played at Duke, who played in the WNBA, who's now a head coach for the Sacramento minor league team. And her name is Lindsey Harding. Do you think that Lindsey could, since she's got the pro experience, head coach now, do you think she can come back to Duke, where she played, was All-American, #1 overall pick in the WNBA? You think she will make a move to go back to college or go to college to take over a Duke program if Lawson leaves?
I don't see why not. I mean, it's not like the WNBA is just handing out the biggest checks. If they're not handing them out to the players, they're not handing them out to the coaches. So I'm pretty sure that there would be some interest there. If Duke reached out, I'm sure she would listen, because just like you talked about, the natural draw to go back to something that meant something to you, that instill some of your life. And she probably at that time she'll play 4 years there. So, I'm sure.
Well, let me correct you. She's coaching men for Sacramento, not the women. She's coaching.
Right. I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, that drives the point. But still, do you think they're paying her any money at a lower level like that?
Well, I mean, I think that do you have an allegiance to your alma mater when they the one who basically marketed you to become a #1 pick overall? Do you have an allegiance to go back to help out? I think that's more of the question.
Yeah,
I think that's more of the question than anything.
Yeah, that is a big question, but money also drives the statement. Don't get me wrong.
The money at Duke is long. You can believe that.
Oh yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure that whatever she's getting paid or compensated for with whatever men's league she's coaching, Decatur Rec that you talked about, that's fine. But that ain't the NBA. So Yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
sure if Duke comes calling or comes, says anything about bringing her back, I'm sure that she'll listen.
All right,
Yeah.
Han, there's a question for you right there.
Whew. Not sure. I'm not sure Candace is at that level ready to coach yet. She hasn't shown that she's
She's undefeated.
interested.
She's undefeated in the studio now.
Yeah, and she's doing well. Analyzing games. I kind of enjoy what she does. In parts, her knowledge on basketball, and you can see her knowledge for basketball is not WNBA. It's a knowledge for basketball. So yeah, I interest maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know if she wants to do that. I mean, is her daughter is her daughter playing right now, Horace?
I'm sure she's playing,
I thought
but
she was playing volleyball or something. I'm not sure, but I think that's what I heard. But I don't know. I know she was talking about being able to spend time and do with her. So I don't know. It's a possibility, I'm sure, because like I
yeah,
said, she does know basketball. So if she's
yeah, I agree.
interested, I'm sure they'd be interested in her. But I think everything points to a loss.
Yeah, I do agree with you. So you're going 9.999.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's what
Yeah,
I would do. I'm putting the house on it.
yeah. You think Pat Summitt is up there pulling strings to say
If she
I can
has
get something
anything
out
to do with it, I'm sure she'd be pulling those strings. Yeah, she wants someone that she coached to come in and take over and put this program back to prominence. Yeah, I'm sure she would be fine with
because
Lawson.
it's the Tennessee way, and Lawson knows it well, right?
Oh, without doubt, that's what I mean. I mean, she
Yeah,
would try not only
she was an unsung hero during those times at Tennessee
right,
because
exactly.
she was a afterthought pretty much. But she did her thing. She did an analyst gig for a while and things of that
Right.
nature. And she left the studio to go into coaching. So
And I was kind of I didn't anticipate that move. When I heard she was a Duke coach, I was like, wow, okay. So, she's had time to cut her teeth in coaching, understanding, the recruiting aspect of it and all that goes along with it. So, yeah, I think that'll be a seamless transition to go back home. I think it would be a great move for her.
okay. All right, Han, let's flip it over to the men Final Four. We got NC State, Purdue, UConn, and the Crimson Tide. Your thoughts on the 4 teams that are there and may not be as exciting as the women, but
Yeah, I
it
think
is what it is.
the thing that the men miss now, you don't have even the coaches. We had coaches back in the day where you knew them, so you had something to go with year to year. There's no lineage to that. Also, there are no names at the schools that we really can relate to. The storylines and things of that nature that you had in the women's game is not there in the men's game. What you do have is the one storyline that I think that they could play up that they don't play up enough is the North Carolina State angle of a team that has overachieved, maybe got there right at the end with clutch shots that we talked about in their ACC tournament to get through that and then keep winning. It kind of puts you in mind of what happened in 88 and 83, I believe is what the year was with Valvano and watching them. And a lot of people don't realize that this was really the I guess catalyst or the start of fouling late in the game to prolong the game. He did this early in the tournament, and it started their run. I can remember him just fouling people, putting them at the line, and they were coming back at the end and winning, and watching them do this. And then as they continue to win, you just were like, wow, how is he doing this? And Lorenzo Charles, Thurl Bailey, Sidney
Wittenberg.
Lowe, Wittenberg, all these guys, Terry Gannon,
Terry
they all
Gannon,
became household names because of the run they made. And right now, they're one of the, when you think about NCAA's Final Fours or runs, they're right up there with some of the greatest runs that you think of in this tournament. So I think that's one angle that you can play up in the men's side that I think at least gives you some kind of a boost or jolt, with this tournament. When you look at Alabama, you think of Alabama as a football school, and you're like, man, they've made a run here. Growing up, we never looked at Alabama as a basketball power, and that way it's all football. So to have them in it, it's like, wow, okay. We used to seeing Nick Saban when we talk about Alabama, and this is different. I don't know. Like I said, there aren't the storylines there. There have been some good games. I won't call them great, but there have been some good games. It's piqued my interest, and I've been one of the, I guess, I don't know, detractors, if you want to call it, for college basketball, men's college basketball, because I think it hasn't lived up to what I grew up on, which might be a little selfish or get off my lawn in my respect. But, at least right now, it's interesting. You got, like on the screen right here, we talk about Big Zach Edey, or however he pronounces his name.
Edey.
Watching him play doesn't really wow you in any way, but he's hard to guard because he's so big. This is basketball that's throwback. And it's probably, when you look at him, you say, yeah, he's going to probably be the National Player of the Year again. But then it's going to end, I think. I don't see him being anything on the next level. And I could be wrong. I want to caveat that and say that. But we'll see, man. I just don't see anything in him that puts him at the next level. But we're talking about now. Right. I do look forward to seeing he and the Big Dancing Bear DJ getting in the DJ booth was what they're talking about. And against Big, what's his name? DJ Burns. I think the Clash of the Titans is what it's billed as. It'll be big to see two big guys going at it. So I hope they let them play, big homie. I hope there's no cheap fouls and one of them gets out of the game. I hope they let them play, which I think I've seen on both basketball. If you watch right now, the NBA and college, the physical nature that they've been letting them play with in college, I think that's helped this whole tournament because they let them play. There's been a lot of physicality, and I don't think they've blown the whistle a lot. So I hope that continues. I'm looking forward to that. And I think that's even translated in the NBA. I know we'll talk about that later, but that's one of the big things. I just hope there's no cheap fouls and somebody has to sit. I hope they let them play.
Gotcha. For me, the women, I got a chance to check out the LSU Iowa game, and listen, Caitlin Clark she can play. She's got talent. She can play and things of that nature. And as we sit and watch movies and we sit and watch different things that we like, man, they couldn't have drew this up any better. I mean, as far as the narrative fitting the stories and the stories fitting the narrative, I mean, they getting what they want. If they're trying to put college athletics or women basketball on the map, then they doing it. It was exciting to see. I was obviously they was looking for the rematch and they got the rematch, and man, it was wonderful to see all of these teams, and I'm with you on the Geno. As I spoke last night about it, it's good to see Geno able to flex and actually coach girls or with lesser talent, because he's always had the better talent so much that basically he just rolled the ball out. But now that he's not getting, now South Carolina's getting most of his talent that he would normally get, he's actually coaching now. In which, on the men's side, you say Calipari is doing all of the recruiting and at one time was getting all of the talent there. But once you get into the can you once you stop getting that talent, can you actually coach now to actually win? Can you, what X's and O's can you, how do you promote the guys now other than I can get you to the NBA? You know, how, you know, what is that now for his side? But you know, like I said, Gino, you got to give your hats off to him.
I agree.
He has done a tremendous job. And you said it before, the better coaches are able to transcend and adjust to different times and adjust to different errors and things of that nature. And Gino is he took a couple of lumps, a couple of years or whatever, but this is what, 15 out of 16 years he's making it to the Final Four now. So
yeah, and you got to remember, Becker's missed all of last year with the knee.
All of last year, I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, you lost she was what, player of the year as a freshman, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So to lose her, and then I mean, last year, if you want to, yeah, you get a down year when you got what was named the best player in the nation. She's gone for a year, so you have to give him some kind of credit on that to say, okay, I give you a caveat year. You lost the best player in the nation, you know, but when he got her back, he's right back here again. So I got to give him his credit.
All right, that's and there's the statement that we talked about earlier offline. I think was it last week or something like that, and we kind of grazed over this topic about Jay Wright saying that the most experienced team normally wins the tournament or normally wins during the tournament. And I asked you, big homie, if you have an experienced team, but the experienced team has never really played on a big stage, does that equal out the experience? Or if you are a younger team, but you've played on big stages all your life, does that give you the experience of playing on a bigger stage than anybody else, regardless of how old you are?
Yeah. And we talked about it, and like I said, I think it's different variables to whatever this answer could be, is because they're playing at bigger stages, but I've even heard some of the top players that have played, in this tournament talk about, it's different because of the week leading up to it. The anticipation of playing, the media that you face, the questions each day leading up to this game. It's a bigger deal than just an AAU or a high school tournament. This is national. You got eyes on you from all over the world. So I kind of caveat that a little bit. But the other thing we talked about as far as experience, you can have a young team. A young team can be more experienced because of, if they play together that full year, the continuity and what they've done all year should translate as the season goes. They should get better. By the end of the year, you don't look at them as freshmen. You look at them as seasoned players. If you bring in veteran players that have played in other programs, they might have that seasoning of playing, but the continuity of playing with those players, just like the young guys, they haven't played with these players. So, I think in that respect, that's a different ball game. But if you have a team that's been together for 3 years, most of the teams been there 2 to 3 years, and they continue to play, and maybe they didn't play at high levels elsewhere or whatever, and they got here in the first couple of years, they were okay, but they got better. By the time they get to that junior year, that senior year that they're having, it's going to be something serious, and we're seeing that happen more times than not, where teams are starting to get better. Teams develop at a different rate and get better. Big homie, let me plug up this device before I lose you. Give me 1 second. Carry on until I get back with you.
All right. Yeah, no doubt about it. The men's basketball. Well, I guess I get to that when we get down to our ballers and busters, because I definitely got a whole lot to talk about when it comes to that. But I think that the Zach Edey Purdue team, pretty experienced. Zach Edey has been at this thing for like like the last 3 years now, trying to get over the hump. Purdue has been knocked out of the first round a couple of times. One time by a 16 seed. So you know they trying to fight back and get what they can get. UConn, a team that won a championship last year, now they trying to go back to back. They have the hottest coach in the nation in Danny Hurley, and he's on a mission. He also has a 7'2" kid that's bona fide. So you got two teams there that is very, very experienced in their continuity of the team with Connecticut and Purdue. But you also have a team like Alabama who plays really, really fast, and they have unsung heroes, I would say. They play really, really fast, and they're a bit older too because they got a couple of transfers in and things of that nature. So Alabama plays really fast, and they got the balance of playing fast, experience, and they got I would say they got a couple of playmakers as well. The NC State. Go ahead.
How many of these players have returned from Purdue's team last year? That's what I'd like to see. Well, both of these squads, and I think that's why you do have to take with what Jay Wright has to say about the experienced teams. Kind of winning out or having that advantage. If you look at it and you look at all four teams, how many of these teams have returning players from, the previous years? So it's fine to have returning player, then sprinkle in, a NIL player, if you want to call them that, or somebody that was in the transfer portal. But when you have that team that has continuity, that's why I think the word might be, where it might be blurred, is saying experience versus continuity. You have that continuity of players that have played together, then I think that gives them an advantage. Just because you got old guys that all come from somewhere else and come to a team don't mean they're going to be good. If you understand what I'm saying. Just because I can get this kid, and bring them in, that doesn't really mean I'm going to have success with them, because they got to understand the system. They got to understand each other. But when I have a team that's played together a couple of years, it makes a difference, I think.
Yeah, it looks like they got about 3 players coming back from last year.
Mm-hmm. Starters?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which team is this we're talking about?
Purdue.
Yeah. So I noticed that it's got to be that point guard, the one that's leading.
Yeah, Chase Martin.
Okay.
He's the same.
Edey.
And then you got Edey, and then you got Braden.
That's the one I'm talking about.
He's a sophomore though.
Okay, but he was there last year though, right?
Yeah, he was there last year. And then you got Mason Gillis, who's a 6'6" senior. The other guy from Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
So they are pretty experienced and
have played together.
But their continuity is what you talked about, which is so important as well.
That's what I mean. And see, that's one word that you always use when you talk basketball. When we've been talking a lot, it's just one of your favorite terms. You talk about the continuity, and I just think that means a lot. That's just like when me and you, we together. We know what we doing, what the continuity of this show. We know first half part of the show what we're gonna do, and then as we go along, because it's second nature now.
Right. Yeah, NC State got a couple of grad transfers, so they're a bit older too. So, but I would say, how much in this Final Four will come down to coaching? As you said, these are some kind of new breed coaches that are not, that we don't hitch our wagon to as much because of, all of them are new pretty much. You got Keats, Oates, I wanted to say Gene Cater, but Painter and Danny Hurley. Danny Hurley came back, and he's coming back again for his second trip, to the Final Four. But as far as the coaching, who stands out to you as far as in this Final Four? when it comes to this breed of coaching.
Yeah, I think you have to give Hurley his props, man. But he comes from a coaching background with his dad. You know, his dad was one of the winningest coaches in New Jersey. You know, so winning titles and stuff with whatever that private school. I don't know the name of it, but I remember when Hurley came out, went to Duke, and they did stories on his dad. You know, and then they talked about Danny what is it?
St. Anthony's.
There it is, St. Anthony's. So with that, just having that kind of foundation, understanding, growing up in a household where you saw your dad coach, I think that helped him in his process and being around the game all the time. So I kind of give him that edge, and then already winning it. That has to be a feather in his cap. When I look at Nate Oates, this is one of the guys that was a teacher and got a chance to coach, I think, with Bobby Hurley. I think Bobby Hurley gave him his first chance to coach or something like that is what I'm hearing. And he has this analytical approach to the game where, he wants this many shots. He wants his guys running into shots, like instead of when they come off screens, they're going downhill into the shot where they're not thinking that they're going to a place not to get into triple threat position. They're coming off screens or whatever, shooting the ball. They want to take shots because he wants this many here. He wants this here. So everything he does has a analytical theme to it. And so you look at that, it's been successful for him. He's here at the Final Four. So that's a different style of coaching. Keats, he was there. He got this contract, but he was almost on the way out is what I'm hearing. He was on the hot seat. And this run throughout has gotten him another contract, and it's been good for him. So we got to give him his props on that.
Yeah, Painter. Yeah, he's the oldest statesman out of the group.
Right, and he's lucky that the game didn't change on him as much as because he's still coaching with a big guy. And I don't know how well that'll translate when you can't find the next Zach Edey. He's got to go out there and try to find, because that's the style he's coaching at. Is he able to adjust once Edey finally walks to the next level? But hey, you got to give him his props because he's staying true to what he is, and what what's successful is in his team is having a big guy that presents problems. I'm gonna have this big guy here. I'm gonna throw it to him. If you try to bring it to him, I got him where he can pass out of it, but he's going to get you in foul trouble if you reach him because he's so big and strong. He's going to go to the rim. So that's his level of coaching. He got his guys getting the ball to him, and they play through Edey. So I think everything about it, these coaches all have things that, are feathers in their cap. But if I'm going to talk about right now, I give it the edge to Hurley because he's done it. He's been there. And he has a team that they've been the most dominant team in the tournament. Let's just be honest about it. They've been the dominant squad in the tournament. Nobody's really come close to them.
All right. If you picking, you going with UConn to win it all? I know I had them win it all in my bracket.
Yeah, I think you got to go chalk on that to me. I think they do win it all. I think the only way they'll have a chance of somebody getting to them is if they have somebody that's come out and spread the court and shoot the ball well. We've seen Goliath go down. I can remember growing up and watching Georgetown look like odds-on favorite to win the title, but end up losing to Villanova, where Villanova shot 68% from the field. It's a different era, different time of basketball, but still, Georgetown they were dominant. People just knew with Ewing and, Graham and the people they had, and Reggie Williams, David Wingate, that they were just unstoppable. They were going to win, but Villanova had a different plan for them. So it can happen. We can see that happen. If teams shoot the 3-point, the 3-point is the equalizer in sport, in basketball. If you're knocking down threes at a big clip, you got a chance of beating anybody in the country. And we've seen Alabama with the two shooters they have, with Sears and what's his name, the other guard. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, it started with an E, I think.
Yeah, Estrada.
Estrada, yeah.
And then the 16, and then the 16 kid that took North Carolina out, you know, at the end, he came on at the end. So shooting is always the equalizer. They have a chance, a fighting chance. If you can shoot it, you can win it.
All right. Let's see. I'm pulling my paper out here, and all right, man. Let's go wrap this up with the. Let's go wrap up the hot news, and let's go do it there. Let me see. Time to get my banners out. All right, fellas. It is time, and y'all go ahead and put them in the chat. It's time to give me your ballers and busters for the week. Yes, sir. Ballers and busters for the week. It is time. And ballers, busters, and boy stop. Let's not forget about that as well. All right, here we go. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be fun. Let me grab my cup again and see how far I can get with this. Hancock, my baller this week goes out to the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta Braves came out and made a statement against the world champions, Philadelphia Phillies, and saying that, yeah, y'all may have got us last year, but we're going to come out and make a statement. And they just, the first two games, 15 to 21 runs, I think. And they got cheated the third game, as far as I'm concerned. They got robbed. That replay.
Tell me how they got robbed.
Well, the replay, they got the ground ball double play, and they say Buddy beat it out, but they called it. They called him out, but then they overturned it, in which I didn't think they had enough evidence to say that they can overturn it. It has to be conclusive, and to me, it wasn't. So, I mean, I couldn't for sure say that he was out. I mean, that he was safe. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
So stick to the call on the field and let's go, and we out the inning. But when they made that call, they hit four straight singles and they took the lead, and that was the end of that. So they got robbed as far as I'm concerned. They should have started off the season 3-0, sweeping the Phillies. That would have definitely made a heck of a statement there. But they took 2 out of 3, which, you know, at this part of the year, I guess all you can do is take it, especially when they taking it from you. So the Braves came out and made a statement. My baller for this week. All right, what you got?
Well, I was going to go Caitlin Clark, man, but you know, you jogged something in my mind. I got to give this dude. He's already front runner for MVP out of the first week. I just got to be honest with you. Mookie Betts is on fire. You know, he's batting 500 right now. That's crazy. I mean, he's 500. He has 5 home runs, 11 RBI, on base percentage of 605, and got 15 hits already this season. So I just right now got to give him all the props. They can't get him out, man. I mean, he's a free square in Prize Picks. So whatever fantasy game you're playing right now, just put him in your lineup. I don't care what category, whether it's runs, whether it's RBI, whether it's hits, put him in your lineup until further notice every night. So my baller this week right now is Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts. I was gonna say, when did Mookie start back playing? Anyway, all right.
Mookie from Do the Right Thing. Mookie don't matter. He doing his thing right now. And I know that's Chase's boy, so I gotta tip my hat to Chase right now because Mookie ball.
Yes, sir. Yes, he is. All right, Dez online said DJ Murray is his baller from last week as he's carrying the Hawks team. Game winners, and the Hawks been looking good over the last week. They done found somebody named Trinity, and he letting it go. And
Agreed.
yeah, he letting it go. So you like, well, Sadiq Bey, hey, are we really missing him with the way Crent's been playing? And yeah, they've been balling. So yeah, I have to give a shout out to the Hawks and DJ Murray. DJ Murray is this is his opportunity to showcase his Batman skills, I guess is what you can call it.
Yeah. You and I talked when Trey had this injury, you and I talked, and I told you that this might be it was a blessing for DJ. It doesn't we call him the DeJounte. It was a blessing, and it was a more than adequate sample size to see how the Hawks would play with him being the guy. If Trey was going to be out 3 games or whatever, it wouldn't be long enough for you to really evaluate what the Hawks could be without him in the lineup or moving in a different direction. You can kind of see what they could be and what they could become, him being the guy, to I guess lead your franchise. So if he continues to progress and they continue to progress the way they are, I think he's going to make Trey expendable. And that's something that you don't really, I'm not saying they should do it or they shouldn't do it. I'm just saying it presents an option. It gives you something but you have to get something back for a Trey. You can't give him away for free. You give him away somebody that can score 28 and give out 10 to 12 assists a game. That ain't something that's just easily done in the NBA. If it was, there'd be more people doing it. So I think Trey takes a lot of heat because they don't look at him as really a bona fide franchise player. I think staying here in Atlanta, he's not really gotten behind like other cities get behind their stars. I think if this was a case with another city, they'd be up in arms to talk about losing their star player. But I don't think you're going to really get that if Atlanta. It's not going to be that. How can we let him go? This guy is phenomenal. He's this or whatever. He's just never had that backing from this city. So I just kind of think it might have run its course here in Atlanta for Trey, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That's
all right, go ahead.
Also, even with the organization, they haven't backed.
Yeah, I agree for sure. All right, put your buses in the chat, and we'll go from there. All right, Han. I think I've said this before, and I will break it down again. My buster this week is going out to my beloved Blue Devils for the way that they played in this Elite 8 game. As I continue to sit back and think about it, and I was talking to someone last night about this same thing, and if you put more of an effort, play with a little more heart, then I can take it better. But to lay down and just absolutely just play with no fire, no heart, no pride, then I just no effort, whatsoever. Just absolutely no effort. And the only example that I could actually give is on many occasions we come to this show and talk about the Atlanta Falcons and how they compete or didn't compete and how prepared or unprepared they were going into the game. And this kind of reminded me of those type things, and I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand if anything, going into a game, effort should not be something that you have to question. Yeah, you may have an off night shooting, you may have an off night, well, whatever, but 50-50 balls, putting forth an effort and fighting back with effort and heart and pride, that's something that you cannot question. It should never come into a question. And That's why they have to get my buster for the week.
Okay. Well, my buster goes out to Kim Mulkey, man. I think her game plan was flawed. I'm trying not to even go into her off the court antics and the things that she's done as a coach that I don't agree with, and I think that she would be vilified for had she been black. Just be honest with you.
Yeah.
The things she said off the court have been crazy, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about her being a buster, and I think that the way she approached playing against Iowa was very better term. Let's just say flawed. You did not try to get the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hands. You let her have a lot of space to operate. You kept you didn't put any length on her to try to even, deter her from getting her shot or make her, handle the ball, in a tight space. She was able to move, come off screens. The first play of the game, your defender went under on a screen on the greatest three-point shooter in women's college basketball ever, and approaching one of the best three-point shooters of all time. You went under on a screen. That's defense 101. You got to chase her, and you got to at least hedge. The big has to come out. You can't play what's called drop coverage and allow her to get off. Her first shot goes in. Guess what that does to her? Big homie, you were a shooter. What happened when you see that first one go in?
Oh yeah, it's open tonight. It's like a lake.
Yeah, that confidence. Now you not hunting it. You at ease now because the next shot you can continue to be 1,000% shooter, or the next shot you still 500. Did you shoot 500 for your lifetime? You the greatest shooter of all time. So your second shot has no pressure. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You have no pressure on the second shot because you already made one. So that was criminal to allow her to establish the rhythm off the rip. The first play of the game, you go under and she shoots a 35-foot three. Boom. That was stupid. And then from then on, you just not only let her score over 40 points, you allowed her to facilitate for over 12, 15 assists. She just dominated the game. You cannot allow her to hurt you both ways. Let her score 40. You score 50, you win. If you cover everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? You can't let her get everybody else off. So that's defense 101. She gets my bust because of the game plan, not only off the court stuff. Yeah,
I got you. I feel you. And like I said on the show last night, adjustment has to be made in game. I don't care what coach you are, you got to make some adjustments. You got to at least try to stop the bleeding, to stop what's working for them, to force them to go to something else to make that work. And I'm just like, bro, come on, you got to make some kind of adjustments. And I don't mean to keep harping back on this, but Jon Scheyer went to halftime and said his offense has been disjointed in the first half. So you got the whole halftime to talk about the disjointment of your offense. And you come out in the second half and look worse than the first half. So what adjustment did you make if you already knew that it was disjointed going into halftime? I mean, what did you actually do to get your team easier shots or call easier plays? I mean, I didn't see any adjustments. Proctor just kept putting up shots that wasn't falling or whatever the case, and you couldn't get the big fella going in and keep it going. But adjustments. So I get it. But anyway, here we go with our boy stop. My boy stop is, I think you alluded to this earlier, and I'm going to have to go with the people who are pushing this Caitlin the Great narrative. as if like we have never seen great women basketball before. I mean, it is so funny to me how when somebody is hot and when somebody is how much the narrative can push you into forgetting the Shara Millers, the Diana Taurasi, the Sue Birds, the Cheryl Swoops, the Maya Moores. I mean, the list goes on. But to try to paint and push this narrative of she can become the GOAT of all women's college basketball and hadn't won a ring, hadn't won a championship. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. That's a boy stop for me. You got to stop that. You got to stop that madness because as bad as we want the narrative to be pushed for, let's get some eyes on the women's college game. I mean, let's be authentic about it. Let's talk about this. When Maya Moore was tearing up the college basketball circuit when she was at UConn, winning 3 championships, did we get this kind of narrative push when she was wearing everybody out?
No.
I mean, people from the South wanted to see her because this is where she grew up. This is where she played her high school ball. So the eyes followed her all the way up top to UConn. But I can't recall pushing this kind of narrative to make sure all eyes would be on Maya Moore. And frankly, Han, she didn't need the narrative because she was a true blue player. One thing I would love to find out is, without some of the hype that some people get, how would they actually perform? Without the narrative, how would they actually perform? Sometimes I want to, sometimes there's just something to think about.
Yeah. Well,
some of these players get a bunch of hype.
You talked about it, and I agree. It's way overblown, man. But it's the narrative is pushed because of the biggest thing that happened in women's college basketball that has catapulted it into the limelight. And the biggest thing, one thing that happened for it was that there's nothing that's rivaling it right now. When you have the men's game that's not really pushing storylines right now, it's a perfect storm to have what happened with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in the final last year. The first thing that happened was Caitlin took down Goliath in South Carolina. If you remember, at the time, South Carolina was undefeated, looked like a shoe-in to win the title. And she came out and she put 40 on them, and they couldn't do anything. She beat them. And then to turn around and have, Angel Reese and LSU come in, and it was the perfect storm. Like I said, it's Bird Magic all over again. You had 2 diverse programs. You look at it, white school basically versus black school. Let's just be real. I think maybe the only people that are in Iowa probably play sports that are black. It's not a place you're gonna move to. It just is what it is. So when you have division like that, it brings eyes, it brings a limelight to it. And this narrative, they had something to push. I mean, we saw it with Bird and Magic, man. Let's be real about it. And Bird was a beast. But you had white America on Bird, and you had black America on Magic. Now you had some that went with Bird, like one of our favorite people in the world, Big Slick. Slick was a Bird fan. Don't get me wrong. You did have some black people that did like, Bird or whatever, but as a whole, it was black America versus white America. And we can sit here with, like I said, we keep it SRT here. Let's call it like it is. And to this point, and right now, I think it's still the most watched sporting event, I think they keep saying, of all time. Bird Magic in the championship game, NCAA championship game. Bird versus Magic. Indiana State versus Michigan State. You know, if I'm not mistaken, but I know up until last year they kept saying most viewed sporting event at that time. Was that game. Yeah. Well, I think that one was live. Tape delay started happening in the NBA. They changed that, but the NCAA was live. That was live.
Okay.
And it was watched. Yeah, that was watched live. But that just tells you how this country is. This country is divided down the middle. You know, it is, whether that's the presidency with Obama going against Trump, whatever. You know, it is what it is. And they didn't even, that's the thing about it. They didn't even face off with each other, Trump and Obama. But it's still the division there because it's still Obama versus Trump when you think about it. That's what everybody still looks at. It was really Trump that ran against Hillary Clinton. But that's almost an afterthought because it was basically him coming in that era. But that's a whole different story. But that's what this country is.
Yeah, there go Maurice right there. I knew he would tune in and he put something up there for you.
Modern day hyperbole is how it works today. And downside of social media, many voices be heard nationally. Same side, I agree. Agreed 100%. But in hyperbole sometimes drives the narrative, man. And that's what the narrative is that she is the greatest women's basketball player. And now they're not even, there's some people are even calling her the greatest basketball player. They're taking the woman's part off of it. They're saying that she's going to be, once she finishes, the greatest basketball player ever.
Yeah. The credit that I would give is that she was bold enough to stay home and put her born state on the map. Because
dude, you
if she goes,
knock what she does. That's what we don't want
to South Carolina, she goes to UConn, she goes to one of these power schools. Would she have had a ring already?
Probably.
Possibly.
Maybe two.
You know. Yeah.
Maybe two. But
and now we can start talking about her being in the GOAT conversation if that's the case.
But would her accolades be as great as they are now? I don't think so. Because her shooting, her scoring, her distributing, all of it would have had to kind of be tempered because her team would have been better. It's the same thing when we talk about how Steph gave up a lot when Durant got there. Think about how many more points he would have had Durant never gone to Golden State. You understand what I'm saying? So think about if Caitlin, if she goes to another program where, you know, they're blowing people out and she's not putting up these gaudy numbers and all of that, then it wouldn't be as large. You know, you wouldn't have that to talk about. Because if you did, this conversation wouldn't even be talked about because look what Stewie did. Stewie went to a program and won 4 titles, 4 in a row. And you still talking about somebody supplanting her as a GOAT. How? How can you say that? She led her team to 4 titles. But we talk about Caitlin Clark because of the numbers she's put up in these years. That's the difference. It's not about whether she's won a title. It's about the numbers.
It's funny how before she came onto the map, the measure stick was rings and how many championships. Now that she's on the map and the narrative is being pushed, now all of a sudden it flips to how many points has she scored? All time. I mean, you can't even say Caitlin Clark without saying all time leading scorer at this point.
Exactly. And that's my point on there's no way to me I can never say she's the GOAT when she's gonna she may not even win a title. I think they beat South Carolina. I don't believe it. I just don't. I think they'll get past UConn because of the depleted roster that UConn has. But I don't think she'll beat South Carolina this year. So she quite possibly won't win a national championship. So how? What do we say then? All this other stuff will be what for naught.
Oh well, they go figure out something to combat her for not winning, but you can best believe that the powers that be want her to get this ring.
Yeah. Well, I won't stay here and say I'm rooting against her, but I'm rooting against her because I want Don to win it.
I feel you on that, bro. I feel you on that. All right, man. That's going to end our Baller Busters and Boy Stop. We appreciate it. That was actually brought to you by my main man, Bo Bell Basketball. If you're looking for some improvement in your basketball game, Bo Bell Basketball is where it's at. Go to CoachBellBasketball.com for more information. He has 3 different locations, North, South, and Midtown. You have no excuse. You can get around town. You can get some improvement on your basketball game. Bo Bell Basketball is where it is. All right, Han, we're about to jump into some real talk, and I'm pretty sure you cannot wait to get into this round table discussion. Because you know why?
Why is that, big homie?
We're going to talk about this playoff picture, and I think we went over some of it earlier.
Right.
But the playoff picture, we was offline talking, and it's very, very possible that we can see a Golden State Lakers play-in game. And also right now we have a Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers first round matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
My question to you is, are you trusting Doc Rivers in the playoffs coaching the Milwaukee Bucks? Because they took didn't they take an L last night?
Yeah, man, they lost. They lost to Washington, man. And
yeah, come on.
I don't think the team has responded to Doc, and I don't think they will, to be honest with you. I think a lot of it has to do with the way the media has portrayed this situation. Doc looks real bad coming in and taking over this job. I think that's an added pressure. But the crux of the matter is that the Bucks changed what they really hung their hat on, and that was the defensive guy that came out and played against wing offensive players when they lost Drew Holiday. And I think they thought they could cover that by bringing in Dame Lillard. Dame can provide offense, don't get me wrong, but I think they thought that they would have enough with Giannis and other guys to get them to Dame time. And that's what I think is that, well, we need a closer, because at the end of games, I'm not sure Middleton is a guy that I want the ball in his hands. As I mentioned, Drew is a defensive player with some offense, and Giannis is a bull in the china shop. You know, he's hit or miss. Yeah, he had that big 50-point game in the final where he hit all those free throws, but that's not something you can bank on. You know, that's like Haley's comment. It came, but it might be a long time coming back. And I thought they made this in almost a panic move by getting rid of Drew Holiday. So I don't think that with this as configured is going to be. And I said this to you, you may not remember, but when they got Dame, a lot of people were saying it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to be this, and I didn't see it, because you changed what your real dynamic was, you know, which was being able to stop people and then score, but stop people. And they're not able to do it now. They're losing, and you can see it. It's a struggle. Just because you put two superstars on a team together doesn't mean, this is almost like we just talked about. You putting Dame and Giannis on the team together, but do they really mesh as a teammates? You know, what does Giannis is not a pick and roll guy that you're gonna be looking for. They don't really run that to where that's something you worry about. They don't use that. You know, and Dame is mostly a guy that you give him the ball and let him create, you know, let him shoot it, let him do his thing. And Giannis is a downhill basketball player that gets the ball off the rim at the top, and he just forces his way in the lane. So I just don't think it's a good mesh, and Doc hasn't proven to be the guy to get teams over the hump. he did have that one win with the Celtics, but look at that roster he had. So yeah,
I agree. All right,
Storm.
real quick, let's go back and talk about the Hawks and how they've been playing. And we mentioned it, earlier, but they on the roll, hand. They in the 9th spot, I think, right now. They
shows 10 right
spot.
now.
Yeah, they in the 10th spot. They looks like they're gonna be playing Chicago in the play-in game. If they get into this play-in game, do you think they can get out of the next round with the way they
Well,
play?
we've seen the Hawks make runs, in the past. When Trey was at the helm, they got all to the conference finals that year against Giannis.
Yeah,
the year that Giannis won it. So we've seen that happen, but I'm not going to sit here and say I think they have a possibility of getting into the true playoffs, because I think on any given night they could possibly beat any one of those teams. Miami is a good physical, defensive-minded team, but they don't really score. That
they play
you know
Detroit
what I mean? They don't
tonight,
have.
right?
Yeah, they play in Detroit now. I think it was last I saw it was like a 4-point game. Hawks were ahead. As I'm looking, now it's tied from what I'm looking at, 39 off. But I might be running a little behind, but that's what I'm seeing. But I think they can beat Chicago. And I'd love to see them sneak in and have the home court advantage, have at least that play-in game be here. And it's a possibility. They're both tied for losses in the column at 40 apiece. Chicago holds a game lead in the win column. So that's one thing. But you look at it, with a few games they got left, yeah, they could possibly get to the 9th seed. With a little luck, they could get there. So you look for it. I mean, they could beat them, and we don't know what
a home playoff game if they get in the 9th seed.
Right, and we don't know what Philly last night. Embiid came back and looked decent, but how does that develop over time? What does he look like in the second game back when that knee is the knee going to be solid enough? He's wearing that brace, and the more games he plays on it, is he able to be effective like that all the time? One thing about the game will slow down, but still, you're banking on him being able to carry that team. So I don't know. We don't know. We don't know what Embiid will do. So I think they have a chance. They got a fighter's chance. They got a sluggish chance of getting into the playoffs. After that, I'm not so sure. But they got a slug. They got a shot. Yeah, they got a shot.
All right, let's go over to the West. Possible matchup: Sacramento, Minnesota. 2 seed versus 7 seed.
Yeah.
Boy,
I think it'll be
Sacramento having a disappointing year after what they did last year.
I think disappointment might be strong, but not
a letdown.
They're not having that step down year. Put it like that. I was expecting them to that momentum from the past year to ascend, and they really kind of look like they're kind of like stuck in neutral a little bit. They'll look good some nights, and then they'll probably kind of take a step back. So I'm not really looking at them as a real threat. Like a year or two ago, you thought that they were one of these teams that might vie for a title, and I don't see it right now. They just don't look the same to me. I don't know if they lost their edge, the hungriness of it, or what. And maybe the playoffs, maybe, sometimes teams we know what it takes to get there. We're just getting in there and then we'll turn it on. So we'll see what happens. But I just don't see that right there with them. And Minnesota, Ant-Man is playing, I talked to you about it, and I kind of shortchanged him a little bit, saying I didn't think that he showed that it was important to him. It seems like ever since I said that, he's been trying to make me a lie, because he's been balling.
Maybe he listened to the show.
I don't know if he listened to the show or somebody told him some people in Atlanta about you, and you need to get out there and show, because he's been balling. Yeah, I got to give his props. He's looking like he could be the face of the league if he wants to be. That's again what I'm saying. If he wants to be, because it's there for the taking. The only other guy. Yeah, if the only other guy right now that could be the face of the league to me is Wemby. And I think Wemby, if he gets he continues to push his team and they can start winning consistently, he could probably be the face.
Possible matchup: the Nuggets versus the
That's
Suns,
unreal.
first round. Possible matchup: Suns Nuggets, first round.
4-2. Denver beats them 4-2. I give Phoenix maybe 2 games. But I don't think Phoenix has an answer for, well, I know they don't have an answer for Jokic. And I think it just takes too much out of KD to have to play on both ends, and that's what he'll have to do in that matchup. To play on both ends takes too much out. He has to rebound, he has to play make, it's too much. And this is one thing I keep saying, he was stupid to lead the Bay. Stupid is a strong word. He's not stupid. He's a grown man. He made his decision. I thought it was a wrong move to leave the Bay. He should have stayed and Golden State and kept winning titles. But he didn't.
Thunder Pelicans. Possible matchup.
I would have loved to see the Pelicans at full strength. Is B.I. coming back at all this year? Have you heard anything on that?
I haven't heard.
Yeah, so I think without that, I think the Thunder move on. And even if B.I. came back, I'm not sure that it will be enough time for him to get back in basketball shape. So I don't know. I look at that matchup and I just give the edge to OKC because they have a MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous, who probably finished second behind Jokic, second or third with. I think it's a three-guy thing on that with him, Luka, and Jokic. So I think he'll be in that top 3 of MVP for the league. But I still go.
Speaking of Dallas versus the Clippers, first round.
Yeah, Dallas is my dark horse. If anybody, I think that can make a run and get through the West and get past Denver. I've told you that. I don't know if people really realize it or say it, but the moves that Dallas made to get size, and I know they lost to Golden State last night, a couple of questionable calls or whatever. But the size and the defense they have with the 2 stars that they have that can score, they got 2 guys that can go for 40 a night, any night. And the thing about it is, they're not just playing my turn, your turn. You can see that it's they're playing off of each other, and they look like they're having fun. Kyrie looks like he's having fun playing basketball for the first time in a long time to me. It looks like he's enjoying playing basketball. And that's a good thing because he's a great basketball player. I just think that the off-court stuff and everything that was going on was just taking and being too much of a toll on him. With him playing the way he's playing, Dallas is a legit player for the West. And the thing about it is you don't have to play everybody in the West. You just play whatever team keeps advancing. So
yeah,
keep an eye on Dallas.
Keep an eye on Dallas. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. My last one would be, we talked about that. Do you think that the Lakers can slide into the 8th spot in front of Phoenix, or the NBA wants to see the Lakers in the Golden State in the first round?
As long as one of them is in the playoffs, they're fine. They'd love to see both of them in because you have 2 marquee players. They wouldn't mind having them match up in the play-in because it's still going to be all eyes. It's going to be Tupac, baby. All eyes on me. So it'll be good. I think the NBA they want them both in the legit playoffs, but I think they'll take that matchup when you look at who could possibly go into, if the Lakers fall out. Still, you'd have a matchup against Sacramento and Golden State. That could possibly happen. You can see Phoenix and Golden State looking at, KD playing against Golden State. That would be a good marquee matchup, something that would be talked about. So you have storylines there. In any case, the West has a lot of storylines. So, Sacramento was an up-and-coming team a couple years back. Golden State put them out. So this you could play up. This is the revenge side of it. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that could take place there. A lot.
Speaking of LeBron, let's talk about this. We're gonna slide just a little bit. Rumor has it that Bronny James will enter the transfer portal as the coach of USC is leaving to take the job at SMU in the AAC. Also, rumor has it that LeBron's point guard baby brother is now the head coach at Duquesne. Does LeBron James Jr. leave California to go to Duquesne, in your opinion?
Wouldn't be a bad move because, I don't think Bronny needs he doesn't need a big time university to get to the next level. If you know what I mean. He already has the name and whatever, the cachet is already there. A lot of people are still singing his praises, saying he is an NBA player. So I think that's going to be well documented. I think playing at Duquesne might be good for him because he'll go down to a lower expectations, allow him to grow. Like you said, play for somebody who LeBron has connection with, feel with. He'll get all the Nike gear he wants. Everything will be great. So I don't think it'll be a downside for him. I think he needs more seasoning. So why not go there? I don't see any drawback from it. Unless some other program, that's established wants him in there. I mean, but hey, go somewhere where you can be more the man. Why not?
Ohio State is in the mix. Well, who else did I hear? Ohio State, possible Michigan, and Duquesne.
Yeah. Depending on who Michigan hires. I mean, you think about Michigan being in kind of a flux, depending on the coach they get and whatever relationship he has with LeBron. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, you got a relationship with the head coach. You send your kid that way, you trust the coach. Now, whether if you trust that coach, if you trust him, you may not trust that guy. Who knows? I don't know. Even though you might have that, that familiarity with him, but still might not be the situation. He keeps saying it's going to be Bronny's decision, and they're going to look at it as a family. So, Bronny might like living in LA. So it might be some school in LA or some school in California.
Then LeBron just bought him a house somewhere like that. And
he may have. I mean, he probably got a few houses.
And I'm not sure if people know, but Duquesne is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's cold.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So Bronny might not want that weather. He might want to stay out there in palm trees.
Yeah, the NIL ain't gonna be the same in Pittsburgh as it is he don't need the money anyway.
It don't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, he got all the NIL. His dad is a billionaire.
Yeah, unless he changed his name to Muhammad something, whatever, that Bronny James is still going to garner a lot of NIL attraction. I mean, you think about whatever he brings. If he goes to any school, LeBron is going to sponsor. Nike is going to sponsor the school, so they're going to be in. You understand what I'm saying? The gear and everything that's going to come with it. Man, please, wherever he goes, it's going to be fine.
All right, let's get to our question of the day. I hope Maurice is on so he can partake in this. And Hancock, I got the question of the day for you. Question of the day: the best footwork as a shooter that you've seen. And I got some choices: Steph Curry, Ray Allen, JJ Redick, or other. Best footwork as a shooter out of those guys or other that you've seen, that you've witnessed.
Okay. Break down what you mean footwork. Do you mean being able to come off screens? You mean
come off screens without looking, without fumbling the ball, coming off screens and in motion, just in rhythm, and even coming off screens with the pump fake and to keep going?
Wow. There's two other guys that I would probably put on here, and that would be a guy that don't get a lot of credit. One would be Reggie Miller, coming off screens, moving. His footwork was awesome, where he could get his shot. But Rip Hamilton also, man. You know, I don't think he gets any other love for moving, and people don't understand how good Rip was. Rip was a hell of a player, and he moved constantly. You know, I think Steph right now, we all kind of prisoner of the moment, the way he moves, and he's always moving. Like, not to detract from him. But if you want to talk about guy coming off screen, being on balance, never looked like he failed. Ray Allen, man. When Ray Allen came off screen, it was just coming off screen. His stop, the form was beautiful. It was a perfect jump shot. Man, it was a thing of beauty. It really was.
Hey, I would encourage anybody to watch that shot he made to save LeBron's career.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. When Bosh kicked it out to him to the corner, Ray Allen didn't even look down.
We didn't even look down. Phone. Yes, I know. You and I were talking. I called you because I said they're going to kill him. You remember I told you? I said, they're going to kill LeBron. And Ray saved his butt because they were going to grill LeBron over losing that night. He was going to be, I said.
Yeah. Ray Allen didn't even look down at his foot. He knew where he was on the floor. His puppies was right, and he just put it up, and it went swish.
Yeah.
I would encourage.
How many times do you call him falling, coming off screens? But you don't recall. It was a perfect come off screen up in the air, and the shot just went, and it was beautiful every time.
I'm gonna have to ask Bo Bell this once. We got to get Bo Bell on. I got to ask him about the footwork. Since he's the footwork king, I got to see what he says. All right, next question. I need you to give me your top 3 pick and roll point guards of all time.
Well, somebody
with the ball in their hand, and somebody with the ball, the point guard with the ball in their hand. You set the screen, and you was afraid of what they would go do with the ball, and you knew that they was gonna get a bucket or a shot or whatever.
Gotta go John Stockton. Gotta go Stockton in the top 3. Stockton Malone, pick and roll. You shouldn't even call it pick and roll no more. Just say Stockton Malone, because that's what they did. Okay, we're gonna run Stockton Malone. That's what it was.
Malone.
Stockton Malone. That's it. So I'll go there, and quiet as kept. Chris Paul, man, with that mid range when he comes off that pick and roll screen, what he can do with finding people. Remember when he was with David West? It was unreal the way they dominated in that pick and roll. So I will go Stockton. I go Chris Paul. And I know I'm missing somebody. Those two come to mind off the rip as far as pick and roll. I'll have to think about the third one, Big Homie, but those are the 2 I got right now.
All right,
you might jog my memory on somebody else. I'll let you call the third one for me.
All right, I'm going. I had my 3. I'm going Magic. Magic for sure.
Okay.
Going Magic. Chris Paul. And I like you, John Stockton. So I throw John Stockton as an honorable mention. But my third one is going to be, and this gonna be a sneaky one. It's Darren Williams, D. Will.
I guess he was awesome, no doubt.
A lot of people forget how he operated that pick and roll in Utah.
Yeah,
he was masterful at that pick and roll in Utah.
Yeah, one of the most stupid things in the world is that the Hawks could have had he or Chris Paul. and they chose to pass on both of them. Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Which one would you have preferred?
Well, you know, I was a Chris Paul fan. I thought, even though he was dirty as hell at Wake Forest and dirty in the NBA, I would have taken Chris Paul. I thought he was can't miss, and true enough, he has been. He's been a can't miss point guard. And until Darren got fat or whatever and didn't want to play no more, he had the troubles with Utah, him and the coaching staff and everything. I think he kind of got blackballed in the league once he left Utah. I think so too. His career never really got up to back. I think they traded him to the Nets, and it never really got back to where it was. But while he was at Utah, he was devastated. So yeah, I go that route.
Okay, Cuz got Stockton, Paul, and Chauncey Billups.
It's the big shot. Okay.
Not a bad three. Not a bad three.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that.
Yeah, not a bad three at all. Absolutely. All right, Han, I got a what say you.
All right.
What say you? Are you believing in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to finish this season off with a championship? Do you think that chemistry have ascended to the level of championship aspirations?
I think that there's only one team that can stop the Celtics, honestly, and that's Denver. Having Porzingis there as your third scorer right now, I think if you look at any team in the league as a third option on a team, Boston has the best third option in the game. And I think it hands down. So I think that gives them the chance. They got enough size. Al provides at least a body to come in and put on Joker. And they have enough offense. They got a bench. They got it all. So, yeah, the chemistry, and, I was a proponent of breaking that up for the longest. I thought they should have. But they changed my mind. I think that the only thing that gives me pause is that sometimes Jaylen Brown feels like he's the best player on the team. And I think that mentality might work against him in some ways. That's the only thing that bothers me with them. Because he takes some ill-advised shots, tries to take over games sometimes, and the best player kind of gets caught in the shuffle. In a sense, it kind of gives you the Westbrook KD effect that they had in OKC, where Westbrook would sometimes try to take over when he should have been allowing KD to be the guy. But, I think Tatum sometimes takes that KD mentality of kind of, fading into the background when he should be taking over the game. Okay. That's the only thing that gives me pause.
All right, so I got another question for you. Maybe this could have been a Buster Ward or a Boy Stop, but I wanted to ask you. You tell me where it fits in your eye. There was another great Celtic on a podcast, and they asked him, in today's game, who is your comp? Which means that who are you comparing your game to?
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Pierce said Jason Tatum. And the person who asked him the question, I can't remember if it was KD or something. I can't remember who asked him the question, but they were like, man, no, you can't even jump off. You can't even jump. Paul Pierce said he done dunked on everybody. I don't remember all of that, sir.
Paul Pierce had some athletic ability before, though, man. I mean, he don't get the accolades of that because we see him as his game developed. He became that on-the-ground type player. But he had a little more athleticism than people give credit to if you look back at some of the games early and some of his time. Paul Pierce could play, man. He was more athletic than you think.
I'm not knocking him playing, but
yeah, I think the major thing about his game, you can't compare him to Tatum now, because what made Paul Pierce great is not anything that Tatum does now. It ain't the same. Paul Pierce made big shots and, played in a great team with the Celtics and all that. But maybe young Paul Pierce might have had some of that Tatum, but not the established Paul Pierce. I think he's kind of reaching on that. I wouldn't compare their games as a whole at all.
Yeah, I don't see that.
It's just like saying that he said he better than Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, Maurice has spoken. Denver has proven that they can stop the Celtics season sweep by the champs. Okay, well.
Yeah. Yeah, but they don't give out the Larry in the regular season.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, Larry don't come to your neighborhood in the regular season. So I do understand what he's saying. I agree with you, but we'll see in the 7-game series. And like I said, the best team always pretty much wins when you talk about 7 games. So
all right, cuz as we talked about Angel Reese as she has declared for the WNBA.
Yeah, it's time. The only thing I'm and I don't know how this is gonna sound.
We keep it a buck. Let's go.
Yeah, but I just hate that. I hate everything that she had to go through. I hate that she had to go on the podium right after an emotional loss because it made her seem like everything against how she was so in your face and had this bravado and nothing phases me. I'm gonna continue on because I think she was more hurt about losing, and it all being over with than her being, down because she lost to, or look bad or anything like that. So I just hate that it happened that way. I wish it would have been a little time for her to compose herself and go on a press conference. The other thing is, and I don't know if you agree with me, you may, but do you remember when Bob Huggins was a coach at Cincinnati? And
I do.
he had the players that used to cuss at him and he cussed at them on the bench. And it just looks like it was too much chaos. You know what I mean? I hate that when you lose, it's almost like you lose respect, but you lose a semblance of decorum with coach and player when the players can cuss back at your coaches and cuss and talk crazy. I just don't like that. And when I think about what I see with Kim Mulkey, she's almost the same way with her players. It's almost to a point where it's just, I won't call it renegade or just outright, I don't even know what term I want to use because I can't use the term. If you and I were by ourselves, we could talk about it, but it ain't right. You know what I mean? It just ain't right.
Yeah.
You don't do that with your coaches as far as I'm concerned. You might have a problem with your coach and y'all hash it out in a practice. You might go, but you got to know how to act in front of company, man. And I just don't like that. I think you lose a lot with that. So I do like Angel. I like that she's whatever, but I wish that she had a little more decorum when she's in public
eye.
Yeah, in the public eye. And I'll probably take heat. And if she heard that, she probably said, what I know or who you ain't got nothing to say about this. And that's, she's right. But I do have my opinion. And my opinion is I wish that you would have a little more decorum in front of company.
Did she look bad? Did she look like she was whining? Did she look like she was not accountable? Or she looked like she was playing the victim?
Well, it looked like she was playing the victim at the podium when she said what she said. But the problem is what is taken out of context because we heard her answer. We never heard the question. You understand what I'm saying? We never heard the question of, how you feeling now, whatever. And then she went on to say how she was sexualized and whatever like that. But we never heard what prompted her to say what she said. So it also looks like now she's playing the victim. You know what I mean? The way it was portrayed, it looks like now yeah, you've been all this tough with them, but now you crying, you act like a victim. But we don't know what the question
Right.
was. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So
But
that's why I
my
hate when they do that.
my question is, what is sexualized when she's on IG with bathing suits on and posting and doing all that? I mean, I'm just asking.
Didn't I just say you got to learn how to act in front of company? Did I just say that? You got to know how to act in front of company. And that's my point. You know, see, my thing on it is if you're gonna do that, then you gotta accept everything that comes with it. And I know when I talk to ladies and all the time, they say, you know, and I get in trouble about it. They say, well, just because I wear this, you don't have to assume that, or you can't touch me and all that. And you're right. That guy shouldn't be touching you. That guy probably shouldn't say what he said. But you can't stop what's in his mind because he see your butt out, or
Right.
you see you got shorts all up your you know, all up yourself. You know, you got
Right,
some low cut. You know what I mean? So I mean, we got to be real about it. You know, you
Boy,
got to know how to.
I see you. I see you at you trying your best to keep your words in check.
I'm trying, big
because
homie. I'm trying
yeah, I
because
see.
this gonna go to YouTube, and I want, you know, I want to
Yeah.
be in the right frame of
Absolutely.
mind. But I
right,
just
well-
be honest with you. You got to know how to act in front of the company, man.
That's gonna be the slogan of the day. Acting in front of the company. All right, I do have a question of the day for our entertainment piece, and that is when going to Chick-fil-A, whether you order a sandwich, order some nuggets or whatever, what sauce are you putting on your sandwich, or what sauce are you using with your nuggets?
But back when I was eating chicken, which I do miss some chicken wings. Good Lord, I miss some chicken wings. But yeah, on that sandwich, man, I used to take a pack of honey and a pack of mustard and mix them together and make my own honey mustard and put on my sandwich.
A pack of honey and a pack of mustard. Okay.
Yeah, I make my own honey mustard sauce because the ones they give you wasn't quite the same. Didn't have that tang to it. So I'd make my own honey mustard sauce.
Okay. What about nuggets? Same thing.
Same song, second verse. Still the same sauce.
Same song, second verse.
Same sauce. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I make my own.
There it is.
I did like that little Polynesian whatever sauce they had, but yeah, more times than not, it was the my own honey mustard.
All right, and I hate to get off into this, but you know, entertainment is what we do, Han. But a question came up last week, and there was a debate about if you're in a relationship, if you're married. And I'm not asking you to disclose, you know, I'm not putting this on you to say what you would do in your situation, but just in general. Women that wear leggings out in public, is it disrespectful to their husband, to their man?
That's the question. I'm ready for my answer.
That's the question. All right, we got some more folks coming.
I've been on record as saying that leggings is one of the greatest inventions in the history of the 20th century, or whatever century we're in. I think it's one of the greatest inventions of all time. I don't think everybody need to wear leggings. I think you need to do a legging check before you leave the house. Because some folks ain't supposed to have that.
Yeah, there you go. Tracy said, "100 mustard Polynesian sauce."
Polynesian, yeah. Some folks need to wear culottes instead of them leggings. Put them culottes. You remember culottes? Big pair of pants. Everybody don't need leggings, but still.
Everybody don't need leggings.
Everybody don't need leggings. They need some culottes.
Oh.
But my point on it, I don't know if it's disrespectful. It could be, like we talked about, it could be dangerous. Not dangerous,
right, because my question, and you know, you alluded to this. Are you seeking, when you wear them, are you seeking attention? And when attention when you get the attention, then you gonna be mad.
And that's the thing about it. You wear leggings they leave nothing to the imagination if they the right leggings, if we being real. They don't
Right.
cover nothing. They fit like stockings. And so you're gonna get somebody gonna say something more times than not, or you're gonna get looks. It just is what it is. You're gonna get looks. So I don't know if it's disrespectful. I think that's that's between you and your significant other on what you have established. I think I don't like I said, I can't say that it's what did you say, disrespectful? I think it's something that you and your person should be comfortable with. He needs to be comfortable with you doing that. So I won't call it disrespect if he cool with it.
We got some comments. There you go.
Let me hear it.
I'm gonna let you read it yourself.
I see it. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Makes a lot. And then Hammer had his girls with everything on. They did the same thing with them Hammer pants. Well, not the actual Hammer pants, but you know what I'm talking about.
Leggings are just that, leggings. They are not pants. Okay.
No, they're not pants. You're right. Greatest adventure of the 21st century.
Greatest adventure. My man Hancock. Leave it to you. Yeah, I think you got to cover up when you wear the leggings. That's being considerate. Got to cover up when you wear the leggings.
Okay.
Because you don't want that. You don't want that attention or that smoke.
Well, it's going to attract attention.
Yeah. You go put Bud in a bad situation.
Yeah, could possibly happen. You're right. You're definitely right.
Yeah, there can be some smoke that don't nobody wanna get on with. I think I can play my little music from here, hand. Let me see.
Okay.
So got a little background music. Let me see what we got. Yeah. With that being said, we got to get up out of here. Let me give my shout out. Shout out to my main man Hancock coming back in studio this week, rocking and rolling with the SRT crew. Good to have you back, bro.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to be back.
Also, shout out to everybody who tuned in, continue to tune in and rock with the SRT crew. We really appreciate that as we continue to hit the numbers up, get our numbers up each and every week. Continue to support. Make sure you go to YouTube, support the channel, like the channel, click on the bell so we can get through that YouTube universe as we continue to grow. We're trying to reach a milestone, so continue to support the crew. And that's all I got here. What you got?
Hey man, just glad to be back in the studio, man. I've been missing this. It's some of the highlight of my week, man, to get it off and come down in my little spot, man, and do this thing with you, man. So I sure appreciate it. Yes, got on a lot of good topics. I know we'll be rehashing them as we get back through them, because I got some topics stuff I want to go over and talk about. So looking forward to it, man. So keep up the good work. Let's stay in touch. So we can be ready to get this thing in next week, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So with that being said, man, we're gonna get out here on time. And if you haven't played your numbers tonight, please go play before 10:30, because it is up over a billion. And I'm headed to the store right now. I'm about to cook me some sausage when I get back. Cole asked me where I'm going to eat. Because I think I'm gonna have to stay home and cook me something tonight, so it would not be no walkout tonight. Let's see if Tracy had something else to say. Where leg me? Okay. All right. Okay, well, with that being said, look like we got to get up out of here, man. The women have spoken. Even if they wear the leggings, they go cover it up, and some are thicker than others. They're not actually just see-through. So, well, I say just don't put us in that position. Man, if men can't wear great jogging pants, then women should wear leggings.
I heard that.
I'm speaking for the men.
I hear you.
Yes, sir. All right, bro. With that being said, you know how we do it. Let's get up out of here, man. All right, hands. Let's roll.
Boogie, I'm headed home, baby.
It's your main man, H.O. from Bankhead. R.I.P. Mom and Pop. R.I.P. DC. And if you love the show,
tell a friend.
and if you didn't,
go get them leggings.
and we out. Peace.